Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are going to be taking a first look at a new game, Men of War 2. This is a real-time, I guess it's called an RTS, real-time strategy game. Feels a little bit more like a real-time tactics game, although that may be a distinction without a difference. This is obviously the sequel to Men of War 1. It is being made by WWII and published by Fulcrum Publishing. And this is a series I've not played before, so obviously this is a sequel, as I said, and I have no experience with this particular game. Usually in war games, I have played sort of the more niche RTS type games. I played Combat Mission. I played a little bit of Graviteam, but not a lot. But like I didn't play Company of Heroes, really never have. Never played Men of War, so these are more popular real-time strategy World War II games are new-ish for me. Now this is a game that is coming out on May 15th, so just a couple of days here. The game appears to be primarily focused toward multiplayer. I don't say that based on gameplay experience because it has a fairly robust campaign system. I say that because when you turn the game on, the first menu screen you're pulled into is the multiplayer screen where you can play PvP, you can play PvE, you can play a classic PvP or combined arms PvP option. I don't know much about those other than obviously PvE is player versus environment, PvP is player versus player. There's co-op ability in this as well. I have not played a ton of this yet. I played through the tutorials, so I completed all of the basic training tutorials. I haven't done the unit, well actually that's not, those aren't even tutorials, but I played through the tutorial for basic training, which appears to be the only tutorial in the game right now, and I did stream last night the first mission in the Thwarted Blitzkrieg story campaign, which we will play today, but yeah, and the other reason I say it seems to be geared toward multiplayer is all the awards you get for doing tutorials or missions come in the form of multiplayer stuff, so I don't know if it's trying to be like a StarCraft style, like rapid click style game, you know, competitive game, but it does have that sort of very fast-paced vibe to it. There are 4 different types of single-player modes in the campaigns. There's the story mode, which I believe you kind of follow one, quote, character through this, you know, these campaigns of either the Thwarted Blitzkrieg, which is the start of the war on the Eastern Front from the Russian perspective, Falaise Pocket, which is the American point of view, sort of August 12th to the 24th. The breakout of Normandy leads to this encirclement of the German troops at Falaise. And then the On Their Own Soil campaign, which is a German campaign that takes place in early 1945, you know, defending against sort of the inevitable fall. There's also historical large-scale operations, Operation Bagration, Operation Overlord, and bonus missions for the Germans. So the German ones are one-offs, but Operation Overlord, the Normandy campaign, Operation Bagration, sort of the campaign in the east that broke the German armies back in the summer of 1944. I believe an entire army group was destroyed in that campaign. And then you have conquest maps, which seem interesting. Some of the comments in the stream were like, these things seem like they're trying to be Total War-esque. It's basically like fight on the strategic map, so you've got the whole Eastern Front, the whole from the German or the Russian point of view, the whole Western Front from the US or the German point of view. Those sound interesting, and I will probably dive into at a later date, but I don't think they make sense for a first look video, which is what this is. But those definitely sound interesting to me, and I want to look more at those. It could also be, you know, when I saw this, I initially thought Call to Arms Ostfront, because that has a similar, like, if you hover over here, it says a generated, so I'm assuming it's not like an actual strategic map, Soviet campaign against Germany with all the technologies unlocked, compete missions, research technologies, and field new battalions and units. So that feels a little bit like Call to Arms, where you like kind of got that tech tree, you've got that like branched campaign. The game looks and feels a little bit like Ostfront, but playing at a faster pace, I think. So that's interesting. I talked to Wolfpack345, and he mentioned that the game uses the same engine as, or at least it originally used the same engine as Ostfront, so maybe that's why it feels and kind of looks similar. I feel like Ostfront has a bit of a grittier feel. This feels a little bit more vibrant, maybe a little bit more cartoony, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean brighter popping visuals as opposed to sort of the more earthy tones that I think exist in Ostfront. And then the game also has a raid campaign, which is fast and advanced fighting. These are big campaigns. I don't know if they're fast advanced. To me, seems like they're rapid in terms of the battle length, but I haven't played them yet. But you can see here 16 Western Front U.S. missions, 16 German East Front missions, 16 Russian, and then 16 German West Front missions. So quite a few single-player missions, despite the fact that the game does feel geared toward multiplayer. With that being said, we are going to play the campaign. We're going to play Thwarted Blitzkrieg, and we are going to jump in. You can see there's 6 battles here. The storm begins, whatever the cost, tanks engage, overcoming difficulties, with fire and steel, and until the last bullet. The campaign takes place in June of 1944, so you can see on June 22nd, 1944, Germany declared war on the USSR with the Blitzkrieg, a rapid strike of combined forces deep in enemy territory. According to the German plans, Kiev was to fall in mid-July, and Moscow in a month, which made the situation hopeless for the USSR. The Soviet General Staff was faced with an extremely difficult task. If they could not stop, then they must at least slow down the German tank groups and thereby mitigate the Blitzkrieg. So, multiplayer rewards, bottle throwers if you win the first mission in the campaign. Again, everything geared toward that. We did play this first mission here, but we're going to go ahead and play it again, just now that I have a little bit better grasp. I didn't want to show you guys me stumbling around some of the UI stuff. We'll play on the normal difficulty, and we'll jump right in. It only took me 6 minutes to get into the first battle. I will also say, I don't know if there's an always online component. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it does seem like every time I play a battle, it always mentions like connecting to a server. Now, a lot of times this is a local server, but take that for what it is. If you are interested, also, links are in the description. There's a unique link there. Doesn't help me, like I don't get paid or anything like that, but the developers did give me this game early, so thank you to them. Got a little diary briefing entry here on the right side. I'm not going to read that because the loading screen will finish before I get through that. Ooh, we got some Russian trucks moving down a road. The paved road.
Who are you?
Brigade Commissar Nikolai Popel, 8th Mechanized Corps.
Brigade Commissar, Lieutenant Slusser of the 92nd Border Detachment.
What is going on here?
Okay.
The artillery hit us before dawn. Our whole post was torn to shreds. I was lucky to be on patrol with my platoon. We weren't hit. We held the line on the shore for 6 hours until they outflanked us on both sides.
Things got serious. Tell me, are any of our forces ahead?
Yes, infantry have been deployed there. I think the 45th Rifle Division.
I see. Well, best of luck to you, Lieutenant.
I just delivered the wounded and replenished the ammo. Back to battle.
You held on the bridge for 6 hours, but then you retreated, I think? So you should probably be shot. Anyway, we got this convoy moving down this road. I hear aircraft. There's a red cross here on this one. Oh, you're fucked. Okay. Sorry, boys. Alright, well, we got a lot of shooting going on. There's obviously some trenches here. The Germans are advancing. Now, the way the game works is the blue line represents the Russian front line or the friendly front line. The red line represents the enemy front line. So that moves back and forth as units move forward and back.
Comrade General, we were bombed on our patrol.
Okay.
Our captain didn't make it, so it looks like...
Lieutenant Ivan Ostapov.
Go on. Lead your men to battle, Lieutenant.
All right. Also, the units that are... There are a lot of units on this map in this battle. The units that are directly under our control are over here on the left. So this DP-27 squad, Rifle Squad, SMG Infantry, and 2 Maxim squads. So our initial objective is to fight off the enemy infantry battalion. So we have to take control of these mortars to do that, to support that. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy one of our Maxim guns here. We'll deploy the other Maxim gun over here. So we've kind of got machine guns on both flanks, I think, of the actual... Maybe we should deploy them further forward. The front line's pretty far back. So we won't do that. We'll deploy the Maxims here. And then here, again, just to make sure that we've got our boys supported. I don't know if we can build fortifications back here if they're not already doing that. Meanwhile, the infantry, the riflemen here, we're going to go ahead and have some of them take control of the mortar. So this is an equipment, a piece of equipment, obviously, this mortar down here. It does require crew to actually operate, and so riflemen can operate the equipment. We're going to move our SMG squad or our DP-27 squad into this building here. They can provide cover from in the building. It's a fortification piece. And then our SMG troops, I guess we'll just move them into the trench line here on the left. You can see one of the things I really like about this game, by the way, when you tell where your men are going to go, it shows you sort of a silhouette of where they're going to be. And so, like, if you're putting them into trenches and stuff like that, you can see where they'll take position. Germans, I think, are breaking through on the right flank, it said. But we've got our troops pretty much in position here. Oh, my MGs did form up. Nice. Good, good, good. Or they did build their entrenchments, although they're not facing exactly the direction I wanted. My infantrymen are firing from these mortars here, so they're shooting at the enemy. Where they're shooting is represented by this orange circle, so you can see their circle shrinks the longer they take to hone in their aim, if you will. The green troops, I believe, are the troops I command, and the blue troops are the AI, I believe, here. So there's a lot of troops in this building in front of the mortar. That's good, though. It'll provide them nice cover. Now, the mortar is firing at its own discretion. I don't have to do anything to tell it who to shoot at. I can tell it who to shoot at. I can hit the E key and then, like, direct the detailed fire if I want. You can see this white circle represents where the shells are going to fire if we wanted to go ahead and do that. Also, these little sort of flashes that you see popping up all over the screen indicates that there are enemy troops or guns firing from those positions. So you can see the longer we wait, the more accurate the fire gets. We'll go ahead and drop the fire here, left click. You can see that little yellow icon represents that it is reloading. And there's our first mortar shell came in behind on those sandbags, knocked that out. I'm not sure if they also knocked out the enemy vehicle, but they just damaged it there. Enemy appears to be moving this way. So we'll drop a shell. It's going to be too late before it hits there. But I'm going to stop taking direct control. They can shoot at whoever they're going to shoot at. Maxim, looks like everybody's okay. The OB building is basically treated like a vehicle, so you can see all of the troops in the building are here. They're all considered passengers. I'm assuming they shoot back, but I don't see a lot of that. Granted, the enemy's not very close to us either. Alright, we got a bunch of troops in that trench line. One of the things I wish the game had was a option to... Did they die in the mortar? Oh, there's two mortars. So we're supposed to take both those mortars. Okay. One of the things I wish the game did more of was... I wish it offered a pause mode. Now, this game is very heavily multiplayer focused, so that could be why they don't. But I really do wish there was a pause option, because this game, when the battles get bigger, very much becomes a click fest. Alright, let's go ahead and get them on that mortar. So there's actually two mortars here, right? So we got the 120 millimeter regimental mortar over here, the 1941 version, and then we've also got another one over here. So two mortars should increase our rate of fire considerably.
With such mortars, we'll definitely defend ourselves.
What is this? This is a DS-39 machine gun? Get the remaining riflemen on that. So we're just trying to take control of all the pieces that we can. I don't really want to try and push the front line back with my infantry. I don't love that they're going to be above ground there, though. Seems like that's going to be sitting ducks. I'd rather be in the trench. Actually, go over here. SMG squad. Those trenches are pretty full of troops. Now, in other game modes, there is sort of a logistical component and ability to pull in reinforcements. I don't really see that yet, but what I will say is the game, this is very much like a tutorial mission, I think. It's certainly presented as such.
Лучший друг бойца. Боевая готовность.
Alright, so we got these men on this DS-39. We've got troops in the trenches. And then we've got crews firing from both mortars. Alright, so we completed the objective. We held the enemy off for now.
But we don't have much left to give.
Well, I'm afraid there will be no reinforcements unless a 253rd Regiment arrives. For now, use this brief respite to help the wounded and bolster our defenses.
Okay, so there's a respite.
The artillery regiment has arrived.
We're gonna get some artillery to come in to help us.
Pashkov's equipment. Let's go take a look.
Alright, so it's actually a decent...
Hello, Pashkov.
I don't know about a regiment, but it's for sure at least a full battery. We got a couple of long-barreled anti-tank guns. Looks like we got a short barrel. And then I think we've got one large artillery piece.
But it looks like we drove them back
Maybe
into
two.
Kind of hills.
All right, Major. Take your positions. A new attack is coming. And I'm afraid this time they'll
Alright.
use armored vehicles.
Yes, Comrade General.
We're going to stick our anti-tank guns, 2 of them at this crossroads here, because we've got troops at each trench line from our infantry. You can see you just hit the chain button, basically, to drop the gun.
Готов выдвигаться.
We're going to go ahead and dig these boys in by using the sandbag button.
Жду приказа.
Hope they're pointing the right way.
К бою готов.
Set this larger gun up over on the right flank. Oh, they're oh, fuck!
Готовы размяться.
I don't understand. How do I rotate them? There we go.
Есть.
I think.
На связи.
Alright.
Здравия желаю.
Can you dig in now, or did you already do all of your digging in? Fuck. Well, that was a mistake. Can you, like, wish you could take that trench down.
Жду приказа.
Alright, you guys will face that way.
К бою готов.
Alright, so you right-click, drag, and then look at the arrow to point direction.
Attention all crews. Hit the vehicles first. If possible, support our infantry with high explosive frags.
Alright, well, our boy... Oh, these guys built a trench. Nice. I did tell them to do that, didn't I?
Жду приказа.
So they're in a little gun pit, at least. They've got cover. These guys have a fortification that they built. Alright. So the enemy's coming. You can see where the enemy vehicles are, represented by sort of a double triangle here. You see this little red icon here? That's a double triangle, basically representing enemy armor or vehicles. We got one gun in the open, but the rest of them do have cover, and then the artillery piece is at least further back, so hopefully it's not. So you can see the enemy comes in here. We can actually use the mouse wheel button to pivot our angle, so we've got a better field of fire. Game looks pretty good. You can see a lot of explosions and fire represented by tanks burning off. The troops, or the guns, largely do what they need to do by themselves. Again, you can issue orders to them to specifically target specific things if you want.
Слушаю, командир.
Oh, I didn't use one of my guns. I guess my regiment's going to be a little maybe more concentrated than it needs to be. In the middle of the road, should we build a gun position? Why not? These are all dirt roads anyway. But if you do want to order like them to do a specific thing, you can hit E, and then you can see it actually tells you in green in that letter there if it's going to penetrate the armor. It's yellow if there's a chance it will, and it's red if it won't, basically. So you can see these half tracks, our guns are going to penetrate. Half tracks are represented sort of by a square with a point at the end of it. Tanks are those double triangles on the minimap down here on the bottom. Oh. And again, E takes over direct control of the gun, and it pivots and moves around as needed. Artillery, when it fires at longer range, can kind of have a plunging fire effect. You can see here, we can kind of see some shells lobbing. And depending on where you hit the enemy unit, influences how effective your, how accurate, or sorry, how likely you are to penetrate. So you might penetrate a track and immobilize an enemy unit. You might penetrate a, you might ricochet off the front but penetrate the side or the rear of the tank. And then that yellow line that sort of fills up represents the actual reloading. They hit real close on this artillery, this gun position. But I don't know if the sandbag saved it or what. It did survive. You can see these green squares represent the actual men manning the positions. So if those squares turn gray, they're dead. If they turn yellow, they may be wounded. Looks like most of our gun pieces are doing okay, and it seems to be pretty much a massacre to this point. We do have our guns pretty well grouped so that there's a nice concentration of fire on any of these guys. They've got pretty good fields of fire where they can shoot. I mean, it's a flat map, so they can kind of pivot the gun and shoot at whatever they want to shoot at. They're going to hit infantry if there's no... Oh, also destructible buildings. You can see that shell somehow went through the front of the building and blew up in the back. Some of the physics on some of these vehicles, like why'd that vehicle flip over? I don't know the answer to that. A lot of half-tracks attacking here. Also, if the enemy vehicles get too close, and you got engineers in the front line here, they may throw satchels at them. But I don't know that I've seen them use satchels on half-tracks. They do use them on tanks. Again, really wish the game had a pause option. I understand from a competitive multiplayer point of view why you might not want that, but from a I'm playing this single player would be nice. Hey look, it's a dude on a horse. Don't mind me, I'm just... I'm the general, I'm just coming back. Oh, something blew up big over there. You can see them bailing out of that tank here, and now it's on fire. It'll probably turn into a blowtorch here in a second, or at least sometimes it does. Maybe not. Maybe it's just going to burn. These Panzer IIIs don't seem to stand much of a chance. I don't think we've lost... Okay, so this F-22, we have lost 2 of the 4 crew are wounded, so they're probably firing at a reduced rate. That one tank was burning out. Both our mortars are still firing okay. Can I order these guys to get off the horse? Or get out of this STZ?
Боевая готовность. Есть цель?
Yep, we're gonna get out of there. We'll be like, shit.
Новое задание.
Alright, and they're gunners. So, looks like my FT-22 crew is okay. I don't know if there's anything I want to throw anyone on. Put them in trenches. But it seems pretty simple so far. Again, we're not playing on hard difficulty.
Longer will they attack?
Now the right flank one, the F-22 is a 76 millimeter. It's actually a howitzer. It's an artillery piece. You can see it lobbing shells in. For longer range fights like this, I do like the, looking at the game on an angle. I think it looks much better. Like, it allows you to kind of follow things a little bit better. Man, they're good. They're accurate. These boys are trained. Oh. Bad day to be in this tank. They're coming up with their machine gun tanks. You can actually see, usually the machine gun tanks, it's kind of like, oh, they're lull, you got a machine gun on your tank. In a situation like this where the boys are in a trench, I can see the utility of that. Not without infantry support, you guys are getting yourself rocked, but... They're doing work ripping apart those trenches in the 2 seconds that they have before they get lit up by my guns. And all my guns are still in action. All my mortars are still in action. I think the rifle squads and SMG squads in the trenches all got killed. Or they took the control away from me, I'm not sure. Hull penetrated, driver died, but it's still moving. He's pushing that vehicle in front of him. Boom! There he goes. A lot of big fiery explosions. Oh, these dudes, they lost their bunker that was around them. And actually they lost 1 crew dead and 1 wounded. I think my boys I moved into that trench from the vehicle are all dead. Can they go join that? Oh, the 76 millimeters down. It doesn't look like it's... I don't think that thing is still serviceable. We still got the stubby 76. Gun pit. Get him. Hull destroyed. Gunner died.
Attention all crews.
There you go.
Cease fire on vehicles. I repeat, cease fire.
2 attacks have been repelled. Well done.
Well done, boys.
Comrade General.
Wait a little before digging into the ground. Retreating border guards reported to me that the Germans have set up a crossing to the north of the village. If the reinforcement comes, you and your battalion lieutenants could catch the Germans at the crossing by surprise and throw them back across the
30
river.
minutes later.
Tank crew.
Where are you from?
Where are you from?
The 67th Regiment of the 34th Tank Division.
Again, this is all scripted, so you're not like building new units or using logistics to call in new units. I believe on the East Front or West Front battles in the bigger campaigns, that is a piece of the game, because it was in the tutorial where it's like you draw supplies based on your logistics and things like that.
But Colonel Vasilyev, our division's commander, will have my head for such capriciousness.
My friend, no one will take anything from you.
All right. So we can use the same method of right-clicking and then dragging and forming a line to order multiple units to form a line, which I'm going to go ahead and do. So we've got 5 tanks that are under our control. We've got 2 T-34s with 76mm guns. We've got a KV-1, and we've got a T-26 and a BT-7. So we'll move them up on the line like this. The order is to attack, counterattack the enemy at the bridge. There are some AI tanks over here as well that I do not directly control. But basically here the order is to move forward here toward this red arrow, destroy the bridge that the enemy is crossing the river to attack us from, and, obviously destroy the enemy as well. So it'd be nice if I could just advance rather than continuing to have to drag the button, but we'll go ahead and do that. We'll keep moving our boys forward and see if we can't push the enemy back a bit. Now, this front line moves based on infantry, is what the tutorial said. By the way, if you double-click on an enemy target, you will fire while moving. If you single-click, you will fire while stationary. So we're just going to concentrate all of our tanks on one target at a time. Maybe that's unwise, but you can see also these little flashes here, these yellow or like light flashes represent muzzle flashes, basically. Oh shit! Did these guys get damaged?
Concentrate your fire on the enemy's vehicles and weapons.
Shit. How about you don't go that far forward, guys? You're getting a little bit ahead of yourself. Alright, enemy guns over here. Oh god. Was that the AI tank that blew up, not me? The enemy has a lot of guns in this wood line here. I don't see our infantry moving forward. I'm gonna pause here for a second. Try not to get myself killed. See if we can find enemy guns that we can shoot at. Just stay there, boys. Let the infantry sweep out ahead of you and go after those guns. Let them spot them rather than your dead bodies spotting them. So the AI tanks, I think, were the ones that were getting lit up, because it still says I've got 5. So have everybody fire on this one. Oh, we just lost a tank. What did we lose? It was one of our T-34s. Again, this is where it's like, a pause button would be nice, because then I could order a whole bunch of boys to, you know, attack these individual gun positions. But I'm mostly keeping my tanks further back. You can see we just destroyed that enemy, or one of the enemy vehicles.
Attention! Enemy tanks!
No, we know there's enemy tanks. Right, we're supposed to destroy the actual bridge, so why don't you go ahead and shoot at this position here. Someone dropped smoke. That's new. I'm going to destroy this bridge. That'll end the enemy counterattack. Our infantry are getting picked off a bit here. I'm trying to use my... Well, I guess this is the 57mm, so it may not be the best for destroying the bridge. Let's use the 20. Meanwhile, my tank's still stationary. But by being stationary, they have not gotten themselves killed too much badly yet. Alright, looks like the artillery did destroy at least part of the bridge. We lost another tank, though. Maybe my mortars can destroy the bridge. Alright, let's advance a bit. I don't even know if we have any infantry left. It looks like maybe the AI is still spawning infantry and sending them forward. But we'll put pressure on the enemy, try and push forward here with the vehicles we have left. Looks like maybe one of my tanks is immobile. Mortars just destroyed that second part of the bridge. Destroying the enemy Opal blitzes. Another tank over here. So we got to destroy the enemy tanks. Turret destroyed. Can you fix it? Get out of the tank. So they can get out of the tank. See this wrench icon? They can get out of the tank and fix it. I think these guns are disabled. I don't see anyone on them. They're still working on that turret, huh? Alright, so the other bridge also has to be destroyed.
The operator, send the following report to Corps HQ. Our division is fighting with 2 regiments in the area of Kusnisha. We repelled all enemy attacks. Vasiliev's tank crew helped us destroy the German crossing with a counterattack. We intend to continue fighting with this newfound border action.
Oh, we won. So,
Commander of the 45th.
I guess I didn't have to destroy both the bridges after all. I don't know if it matters that I didn't. So I did well on earned currency and task progression. Unit and regiment statistics and rating points weren't great. So you can actually see the team score here. So the AI units here have their scores. Our units here. You can see here the kill versus loss. 305 enemy killed, 16 lost. 42 enemy vehicles killed, 4 of our own lost. We had 50... What is this? Damage to enemy? Okay. I don't really know what that means. Personal score and XP. Go to personal score and we can see the individual unit efficiencies. So the KV-1 actually was not very efficient, 21%. However, that's measured. 93% for the M30, so that did pretty well. Most of the other units not as great. The F-22, however, that 76mm artillery piece, 232%. The T-26, 96%. Our SMG infantry, very efficient as well. Some of these other units, less so. So, you know, you can see a list of units destroyed. So all that kind of stuff is included there. We get the multiplayer reward for the victory there. League points. Again, this all seems multiplayer stuff. I don't know how it matters because I haven't tried the multiplayer yet. But that's Men of War 2. This is the single-player campaign thwarted Blitzkrieg. Again, this first mission, very much hand-holding, very much a tutorial. We saw in the first mission you had one battalion, machine gun company of the 3rd Infantry Regiment that you start with, and then it sort of spawns in other units. But if we actually go to the second battle here, you'll see you've got an artillery regiment, an infantry assault, a mortar regiment, reconnaissance regiment, and a motorized rifle regiment. So presumably these battles start to get a lot bigger and a lot more complex. Maybe they'll start moving in the logistics element that determines like how many reinforcements and things that you can call in. Not entirely sure, but we'll see. Nonetheless, that's Men of War 2. Hope you guys enjoyed the look. This was my first time, well, I played the tutorial, but really this is my first experience with Men of War, my first look at it. It's an interesting game, and I've said it a couple of times, but really the pace is very clicky. So for an old school war gamer like myself, I like to have time to see things unfold. I like to look at the imagery. The game looks pretty decent, you know, pretty solid actually, but the inability to like see anything that's going on because you got to quickly move stuff around, and I was playing slow. It would be nice to be able to have a more cinematic experience because there's a lot of big explosions and things look good, but you're more focused on making sure your boys aren't getting shredded. That I think that can be a bit of a challenge. That being said, let me know your thoughts below. Let me know if you want to see more of this. I'll probably stream this again. I also talked to Wolfpack about maybe doing something with him on this. But yeah, that's the game comes out on May 15th, so just a couple days away. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you very much for watching, and I'm out.